Pokemon Sword and Shield are easily the most controversial games on the Switch. They've been bombarded with terrible reviews. I think it's safe to call this game a mess upon release. But a mess is not all bad nor all good, just a mix of both. Well, what most people have come to call this mess is Pokemon Sword and Shield, which sold 6 million units just on launch weekend. Definitely a big release. But does it really hold up as a big Switch contender? Before I start the review, I would just like to say that all music in this video is straight for Pokemon Sun and Moon. I do not have the soundtrack for Pokemon Sword and Shield yet, but I hope to for future videos. And for the perspective of the video, I am not a huge competitive Pokemon player, just a casual fan of the franchise. One more thing, I did not get Pokemon Sword, just Pokemon Shield. So this review is just for Pokemon Shield, but they basically are the same games, just with some minor differences. So that is why I said Sword and Shield in the title. Now, let's get started. I broke the review into 4 categories: gameplay, music, story, and characters. Atmosphere bosses just got pushed into gameplay characters. Let's see the gameplay now. After more than 20 years, the original Pokemon formula is still a ton of fun. Game Freak is well aware of this, so they try not to change the formula too much, because why ruin something that is already just fine? What they messed up with, in my opinion, is bringing in new topics while still relying heavily on old mechanics. Breath of the Wild relied heavily on the open world. Nothing held it back, and it excelled greatly. Sword and Shield brought in the wild area, but still had so many linear routes. Why can't it just be one huge open world? I feel like the game kept flip-flopping in which game it wanted to be, open world or linear, but the game never decides. The game also flip-flops in quality too. The Pokemon at Pokemon Camp are beautifully animated. Their textures are crisp and have good quality, except when they interact with each other. Well, and then you go to the wild area. The trees are hideous, and they have no similarities to the berry trees. What forest is this? The grass and landscape textures look rushed and unfinished too. I did like roaming around in its gigantic open world, but it just felt empty. The Pokemon pop-up mechanic was so close to you that I had so many accidental encounters. Can't I just see them a couple feet away? They would just come up a foot away and I would go right into it. The weather was cool, but it felt like it was snowing and sandstorming. It's not even what you call it, a couple feet away. How is that even working in this place? Away from the wild area for a bit, the routes were interesting, but very linear and simplistic. Every 2 steps, somebody would stop me. Yes, I know there's a huge hotel 2 feet away from me. It's in my camera view. The towns and cities were interesting, but I want to explore them. I love just exploring one of the hotels in the snowy city, but in Motostoke and Hammerlock, these 2 gigantic cities, the game emphasizes this huge area, but you never actually get to explore it. I just wanted to see this. This is what Pokemon games are all about, exploring. I want to explore the cities. My rival would talk to me every 2 seconds, which was really frustrating. The overly long and slow tutorial was one of the worst moments in my Pokemon experience. The game though introduced some cool new mechanics. Dynamaxing was more fun than I thought, and Pokemon Camp was really fun. It made me bond with my Pokemon, and cooking curry was always a nice experience. Now to what Pokemon thrives on most. Pokemon. The new Pokemon were decent. The starters were all cute, and most of their evolutions were really well designed, except Drizzile and Inteleon. Pokemon like Obstagoon, Copperjaw, and Corviknight were all great additions. There were only some that I didn't like. The bad guy Eternus was a joke though. Its design is all over the place. Literally. It was horrible. The Pokemon battles in this game are still a lot of fun. The normal formula still works today. The new moves were cool, but the animations were an embarrassment. Now, to sum up gameplay. If you want to make a huge new mechanic like the Wild Area, everything else must be perfect. In Breath of the Wild, they wanted to introduce an open world. Everything else had to be perfect, like music, characters, combat, atmosphere, direction, and it was all great, and that's why it's such a good game. Pokemon introduced this new wild area, but everything else was a mess. The animation was bad, combat was the same, the direction is plain, and I'll get to music and characters later on in the video. Even though there are so many flaws in this game, it's still a lot of fun to play. I've been debating about this topic for a while, and I still feel conflicted about it. Some were just amazing, like the Wild Area theme, Beads theme, the Battle Tower theme, and Wind Dawn. Other themes were good too. My main problem was the actual amount of music. This game has a lot less than past games. The Wild Area theme was reused for multiple routes. If you're gonna make a huge area, at least have it have an exclusive theme. Some route themes felt unpresent too, except Route 10, great theme. The trainer battle, hop theme, bead theme, and champion themes were all very atmospheric and action-packed. I love the addition of the crowd cheering too. It really amplified the stadium battles. There were only a few themes like the first two towns and that water city that I did not like very much. It didn't fit the area. As for the music of Pokemon Sword and Shield, I thought it was good. Not amazing, but nowhere near bad. Unfortunately for Pokemon Sword and Shield, the storyline was a disaster. First of all, there's no main villain. The evil team is no more than some wild fans, and the actual villain is so plain it felt non-existent. At the end of the game scraps up some random character as a villain and builds an entirely new plot in like 10 minutes. That is a disaster. The legendary Pokemon, who should be the main characters, showed up at the start of the game in the first hour, and then were never shown again until the end. I mean, is this what I was hyped for? Another villain, who was made in a couple minutes, makes one of the most boring battles I've ever seen, where he just mowed out its health slowly. How does this slashing attack called Behemoth Blade do less than a quarter of its health? The gym challenge was fun and actually had well-developed gym leaders, but it was just pushed aside for the disaster story to ruin the experience. The post-game is so disappointing too. I want to see a cool new character, explore a new area, or even just do something that's not follow around some hairstyle-obsessed hooligans as they walk right into a huge stadium and unleash giant Pokemon who wreck the place. Where is the security? This happens 8 times. 8 times! The story has no real character development, emotional moments, or even an interesting villain. Sun and Moon's story beat this game in literally every single aspect. That's why I played Sun right after, to clean the bad taste out of my mouth. Alright, let's go to characters. Sword and Shield characters are a mix of good and bad. why don't we make a little game so we can shake things up a bit? I'll list my top 3 worst characters and top 3 best characters in the game. I'll start with bad so we can end on a high note. Number 3 goes to Chairman Rose. His intentions were very clear, but his character was so plain. You could see that he was a villain right from the start. Number 2 goes to that one advisor to Chairman Rose. Her plot was scrapped up so fast that I literally just sat through like a half hour of fighting endless goons that was just so boring, and then I was right back on my way. Her intentions were never shown, and making a secret army of bad guys that look exactly like the security, just with a different color sunglasses, come on now. And number 1 goes to the twins, Shieldbert and Swordbert. These characters had 0 development. Okay, you beat the game, and 2 people come along and wreak havoc on the region. Where is that security I fought for a half hour? Now, to the best characters. Number 3 goes to Hop. He may be a clone of Hal, but he's still a good character. His intentions were clear, and he was trying to beat his older brother was actually a good reason to keep going. Number 2 goes to Bede. He or she, I think it's a boy, was really well made. You literally almost destroyed his life, and I felt emotion when battling him. I love how he comes back again and again, stronger and stronger, and actually becomes a gym leader. That was cool. Number 1 goes to Piers. He was the first Dark-type gym leader and did not disappoint. I like how he never uses Dynamaxing, and his relations as a big brother to Marnie was well made. I like how he's sluggish but can actually get stuff done. His care for his town is great, and the mission at the end was bad, but Piers actually made it fun. Now, to the final score. I've been doing a bunch of thinking for Pokemon Sword and Shield's final score, and the final score of Pokemon Sword and Shield is 74 out of 100. This game has a bunch of flaws and made a bunch of big mistakes, but isn't a horrible game. It did still have a bunch of pros, good characters, good music. It just fell short on being a huge Switch contender. I did make a video on how I was so hyped for this game and I was a bit let down, but I did say they're gonna make an expansion pass, and hopefully it can bring that score a little bit up, but I can't put it anywhere above a 75 because that's just too much for a game this low scale. And I couldn't put it above 80 because I wanted to put it far apart from games like Mario Odyssey, because games like that are so amazing, so creative, so outstanding. I couldn't put it near those. Even though Pokemon Sword and Shield is a great game, it just fell short on being a big Switch contender. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I've been pounded by homework for a while. I couldn't make this video any sooner, but I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Potato Sensei out.